Hello everybody, welcome to Mathethics original channel. Thank you for watching our videos. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. In today's video, we will be solving an inequality and also graphing the solution. So before we start solving inequalities, let's start with graphing. When you're graphing inequalities, there are two things you need to know. First is open circle and then close circle. We use open circle for these two symbols, less than or greater than. And we use closed circle for these two symbols, less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. Okay, so again, we use open circle for less than and greater than, and we use closed circle for less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. For example, let's say we have the following inequalities. X is greater than 4. X is greater than 4. So how do we graph x greater than 4? Now, notice we have greater than. So because we have greater than, then we're going to use open circle. So let's graph this. We're going to have our number line. Okay, sometimes they will give you the number line, sometimes they won't, but it's just a line, you put numbers on it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, since we're only up to 4, and then we got that all the way to infinity. And on the left side of 0, we got -1, -2, -3, and all the way to -infinity. So what you do on the number line, you look for that number 4 because x is greater than 4. So you look for that number 4. So once you find the number 4, then you put a circle on it. Put a circle on number 4. Now, again, because it's a x is greater than, when we have greater than, you leave this circle open. Okay, so we leave it that way. Now, if it's greater than, every time they say greater than, that means you look on the right of that number. And every time they say less than, you look on the left of that number. So because they say greater than, so that means x can be 5, x can be 6, x can be 10, and x can be 1,000,000. But x cannot be anything that is less than 4. X cannot be 3, x cannot be 2, and x cannot be -1, and so on and so forth. One other important information. Every time you got less than or greater than, that means the value is not a part of the solution. So x greater than 4, so x can be anything that is bigger than 4 except for 4 and below 4. So x can be 4.01, x can be 4.02, x can be 4.9, x can be 4.99, x can be 10, and so on and so forth. Anything that is bigger than 4 can be a solution for x. But 4 is not a solution for x, and anything below 4 is not a solution for x. So when you're graphing that solution, you put that open circle, and then you put an arrow on the right of that circle. Okay, so that's telling me anything that is bigger than 4, it doesn't matter how close that number is to 4. Let's say 4.00001. So it doesn't matter how close the number is to 4. As long it is bigger than 4, then it could be a solution for x. Okay, so let's use another example. Let's say we have x less than -1. Let's say x is less than -1. So if x is less than -1, okay, so that means x can be anything that is less than -1, but -1, and anything that's above -1. So how do we grab this? Because it's a less than, again, we're going to look for -1, and we're going to put a circle on -1. And we're going to leave that circle open because that's a less than. And we're going to draw an arrow on the left because it's less than. If it's less than, you draw the arrow on the left of that number. If it's greater than, then you draw it on the right of that number. So because it's a less than, I'm going to draw an arrow on the left of that number. And it's go all the way. Now, a solution for this right here, x can be anything. X can be -3, x can be -4, x can be -7, x can be -2.5, x can be -1.0001. Okay, it doesn't matter how close it is to that number, to -1, as long x is not -1, it can be a solution. So the open circle is to represent either less than or greater than. And less than or greater than mean any value, let's say less than mean any value that is less than the number except for that number, and greater than mean any value bigger than that number except for that number. Now, what if we have x, okay, let me use another one. What if we have x greater than or equal to -2? Okay, I'm going to draw another number line here. So let's say that's 0, 1, 2, 3, and that is 1, -1, sorry, -2, -3, and so on and so forth. And that's a number line. So we need x to be greater than or equal to -2. So if x is greater than or equal to -2, so first thing we have to find -2 on the number line. So we're gonna go on the number line and find -2, and that's -2. We put a circle, and because it's a greater than or equal to, so we have to close the dot. So the circle, we have to close the circle because that's greater than or equal to. So what that means, and after we close the circle, because it's greater than, then we're gonna draw an arrow on the right of the circle. Okay, so that's greater than or equal to. So what that means, x can be anything that's on this red line. Okay, x can be anything that's on this red line. X can be -1, x can be 0, x can be 1, x can be 2, x can be 10, x can be 100. Okay, and also because it's a greater than or equal to, so that means x can also be -2. Okay, x can also be, because of that equal sign, x can also be -2. All right, so remember, we close the circle for greater than or equal to. So now what if we have x, less than or equal to 3? Okay, x less than or equal to 3. So we're gonna grab this. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's fine here. -1, -2, and -3. X is less than or equal to 3. So again, what you're gonna do is to go on the number line and find the number 3. So we're gonna find the number 3, all right, and we're gonna put a circle there. And because it's a less than or equal to, so that little equal sign is really important. So less than or equal to. So because of that, we're gonna have to close the circle. Okay, so we're gonna shade inside of the circle. So we close it, and then it's less. Less means on the left of the circle. So we're gonna draw an arrow on the left on the circle of the circle. So that means everything that's on the left of that circle can be x. Okay, so x can be 2, x can be 1, x can be -2, x can be -3, x can be -100, and so on and so forth. And also, because the circle is closed, or because we have less than or equal to, 3 is also a solution. Okay, so we got greater than mean the number is not part of the solution. It's just anything that's bigger than that number. Less than mean that number is not a solution, but anything that less than that number is a solution. Greater than or equal to mean that number and everything that is bigger than that number is a solution. Less than or equal to mean that number and anything less than that number is a solution. So we will have the part 2 of the same topic in our next video. And in that part 2, we will just solve inequalities. So thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have questions about our videos, please let us know in the comment. Thank you.